What's up guys, your boy Gus back again with another video, and today I'm doing yet again another DBD X collab video. These are always fun to do, and I was thinking, because it's April and didn't really do April Fool's video, this will be the April Fool's video I'm kind of not doing. Because it's April, I feel like a bit more jokey kind of one could be fun to do. So I decided to do a DBD X BALDI's basic collab. Now, fun thing, this is actually a bit of a hard one to come up with ideas for. Mainly, you guys noticed this watching this video. I'll just say it now. I could not come up with a survivor. I had no idea what I could use for a survivor, so this one is not going to have a survivor. It's just going to be a map and a killer. But during the map session, I will be doing something along with it, so it's not just a map and killer, there's one more thing. You guys just have to wait and see what that is. Yeah, but that being said, without further ado, let's begin with the new map. Now, as for the map, it is pretty obvious what it's going to be. It's of course going to be the schoolhouse. Specifically, I'm going to use the site or like the area that was in the original BALDI's Basics, so BALDI's Basics Classics, not the newest version of the game that is now. I'm talking specifically about the classic version, because that's the one I know most of, and I feel like it's the most simple one, not too much in it, so it'll be pretty good for the map. Now, that's really all I have to say about the map, pretty basic stuff. Now, the other thing that I'm doing for this part, might do more if I come up with more of these for the future, is because I couldn't find a survivor, what I come up with is a new thing I'm gonna do in some of these videos called a collab skin. Now, a collab skin also isn't always a skin around what the video is about, so for this one, the collab skin is not about BALDI. It's not a BALDI skin I'm giving a character. It's something different from a different game or media that I'm giving. What it is basically if I'm giving a killer, a skin of a character who I fits most. Mainly because that character, it doesn't have that much uniqueness to so they can have their own power and own video. Now, the killer I'm doing for today over the collab skin is the neighbor from Hello Neighbor, and I'm thinking I'm more likely going to do his design from Hello Neighbor 3 because I feel like that could fit more into DBD. Now you're wondering who is he a skin for? He is a skin for, well, the DBD killer, the one everybody knows, Trevor, the first ever killer in the game. Because, well, the neighbor's thing in, well, Hello Neighbor 1 was bear traps. He had all of them around the map, just spread out, he can even throw them at you. While Trapper can't do that, Trapper's whole thing is bear traps. So that makes the most sense. Now, of course, it wouldn't just be a cosmetic thing, it'll be like unique, like animations and stuff. He will be like a unique thing with his own voice lines and stuff, but he will just have the same power as Trevor. But yeah, anyways, that was the map and the collab skin. Now, let's move on to the killer. Now, as for the killer, it is, of course, going to be Mr. BALDI himself, who will be known as the teacher. Now, little fun fact, DBD was originally going to have a killer called the teacher for their first ever DLC, but they decided to change it into the nurse. So I decided to give, because we don't have an actual character to be called the teacher, we'll have BALDI be called the teacher. Now, first thing for him I want to quickly say is, because I want to represent how BALDI is in the game, where he is pretty slow early on, all this is gonna work is, this is the first time I'm talking about this, where each killer in the Daylight has a base movement speed, like how fast they are. Most killers are like 4.6. That's the most basic movement speed for a killer. Some are slower, but most killers are not faster than 4.6. Now Baldi, he's going to be on the slower side. He's going to be 3.8, which is, if I'm thinking correctly, it's like the slowest, even slower than the slowest killer, base movement speed killer in the Daylight. So he's very slow. But he's slow because how his power works. And his power is called Welcome to My Schoolhouse. Now there's two kind of stages for his power. There's the beginning of the game and there's the end game. The power. How it works is at the start of the trial, 5 characters will spawn around the map, and each one has a unique power. And these characters are of course going to be the characters in around the map for Baldi, basic. And I just realized that, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's 5 characters. It should say, I sent in my script, I put 5, and it's 4, the 5th one spawns during the end game. It was supposed to say 4, sorry. Yeah, 4 characters spawning in beginning of the game, or we first have playtime. Of course, all these characters are kind of work the same as to how they work in Baldi's Basic, but slightly different. So playtime works the same. If she spots a survivor, she will alert the killer, so the killer gives like a noise notification, and will make the survivor do jump ropes 5 times. So kind of similar how it is in Baldi's Basics. Now, this is where, because of one thing, Baldi is slow. So let's say if on the other side of the map and playtime catches you, Baldi takes a long time to get over there, so you have enough time to jump rope and escape. Now, the next character for Baldi to help him will be the bully. How the bully will work is that he will block a random window or pellet, and every 30 seconds he's moved over to a different one. So he's kind of like a luck-based kind of power, where if you're lucky, he will block the correct window and pellet so you can actually hit a survivor during a chase. So he's very luck focused if you can hit or not. Now the third one is going to be first prize. Now how he's gonna work is he'll be going around the map very fast, like he does in Baldi's Basic, and he cannot turn when moving. He has to hit something or he can turn, just like the game. And if he hits a survivor, the survivor will be pushed into an object, maybe like a wall or like an object around the map, and then they will get hindered, 20% hindered, which makes them slower for 5 seconds. Again, this is like to help, help the killer. So if he's in the chase and the survivor gets hit by first prize, then the killer has enough time to quickly catch up because the survivor is slowed. Now the fourth one for the first before the beginning of the match is going to be the principal. How principal work is, if a survivor runs in his line of sight, he will then make them stand still for 10 seconds, and it will be 5 seconds if the survivor is being chased. So again, very much to help the killer, because he is slow and he definitely needs help. And now we come to the end game of Baldi, which will be very similar to how Baldi is in, actual Baldi Basics. How this works is when all 5 generators or 1 generators are done, you will turn angry like Baldi does in the game, and then be turned into a 5.4 killer, which is one of the higher, like a very high base movement speed. And you gain a 20% cooldown on hits, so you recover faster from hitting a survivor. And then you will get one new helper. All the other 4 helpers before will be gone. Get a new one. Well, how this works in when all the gems are done, it will spawn in this arts and crafts. And if a survivor looks at it for too long, so like I'll say maybe 1 or 2 seconds, then they will be teleported close to the killer. So very similar to how arts and crafts works in Baldi's Basics. Yeah, that's how the power is gonna work. Again, this is power is basically Baldi if it wasn't dead by it, because it's kind of the same. How the same power works. Now moving on to the perks. Okay, first perk we have is I hear every door you open. How this perk is gonna work is when survivor does any interaction, like interacting with a generator, healing, or vaulting anything, the killer will get a loud noise notification, and this perk goes on cooldown for 20 seconds. So basically, kind of like every 20 seconds, you will almost immediately know where you can go next to find a new survivor. So this is pretty good, very good perk for Baldi because he is slow and it's a waste of time for him to go somewhere if there's no survivor. So yeah, the next perk is get out while you still can. And what this does is you'll see the aura of all survivors when all gens are done for 5 seconds. And then when a survivor is opening an exit gate, they will become oblivious. And oblivious basically does so that the survivor will not cannot hear the killer's territories, so they don't know if the killer is approaching them or not. And for the third and final perk we have, that's me. Whenever a survivor is in your line of sight, they will become 5% hinder for 10 seconds. Since 5% hinder for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, then goes on with 10, 5. Well, I don't they become hinder for 10 seconds. Why is it? I don't know why it says 5 seconds there. I said you put a 5. I don't know why I put a 5 there. Yeah. They'll become 5% hinder for 10 seconds. And then goes on cooldown for 60 seconds. So again, very good for Baldi because he is slow, so you can help him get close to your survivor. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be the end of today's video. Hope you enjoy your time. Again, these are always very fun to make. And yeah, let me know down in the comments below what other version of these you want me to do. I have some ideas of ones I do want to do. Again, just very time and to actually come up with ideas for them is a bit hard. Yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoy your time, and remember, you matter in this world. There's always someone who will love and care about you. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, just remember you're loved and appreciated. Be happy, stay happy, see all you lovely people next time. Later, Bucket Army.